What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here for the weekly non-sports card / comic book market update, chit chat, news, just topics around the industry on that side of the world. We're a day late today because gem rate data came out yesterday for all the various grading companies, so pushed this video back just a day. As a reminder, this weekend I will be in attendance at New York City Comic Con, part of the afternoon on Thursday into the evening, and then should be on the show floor for the full day on Friday. So if you're in attendance, let me know in the comments down below. If you see me roaming around, try to say hi. I don't have a booth or anything. I may be doing a box break in the CGC booth on Friday afternoon. Still a little up in the air on time on that, probably between 4 and 6 or 4:30 and 6:30, somewhere in there. So if you swing by the CGC booth during those hours, you may see me hanging out there. But looking forward to that. Should be a fantastic time. I'm getting pretty hyped for it. Not sure what I'm going to be looking for. I actually might not even be doing a lot of buying, more so just kind of walking around, taking in the vibe and the scene and all that kind of fun stuff. I don't have a specific target list, but if I run into something I won't, for a good deal that is on my want list, I will pull the trigger. Let's go ahead and dive in with this week's biggest thing of the week, and that is by far and away, SpiderMan Metal has sold out on epack. And this happened quick today. I'm recording this Monday, late afternoon, early evening. I just stopped my car for work, pulled out my phone, did a quick peruse, saw the Facebook page that they were down to like 90 boxes or 90 cases or something like that. That was late morning. By the time I got home from work, right as I walked in the door at around 4:30, those were wiped out. Then the boxes went super fast. I actually tried to FOMO into a box. There was like 20 left. I attempted to buy one and they were gone. Same thing with packs. They went as well. So epack is 100% sold out now. So there's only physical product. And remember, epack was, I believe estimates are 70% of the print run was on epack. So I personally expect the physical boxes to probably hold or start slowly creeping up from here. As of right now, at time of recording, they are sitting in that same spot that they have been, right around to right over 600 a box. The last sale is actually 586. I can tell you the cheapest listing on eBay is 650, and a couple sold right before this recording at around that price. So this number will update and it's going to shoot back up again. Generally speaking, though, you can see this line is about as flat could be, right at that $600 number. David Adams, if you remember from last week's video, they had theirs priced at $620. They have actually upped theirs to $700 now. So you can't get physical boxes from them for $620 anymore. They adjusted that price up. Fleer Ultra Avengers is still sitting at $400. Over there, we'll talk about Marvel Beginnings here in a second. Retail boxes have also basically stayed the same. They're sitting at just over $40 a box, which seems perfectly reasonable for a box on the secondary market for a blaster. If you're just looking to have a little bit of fun, maybe build a set or whatever, that's still probably the way to go. Obviously, not a ton of big money hits in those, but that's fine. If that's all you want to do is rip with some kids and have a little bit of fun, they're the perfect product for that. I wouldn't be surprised if prices on those slightly started creeping up as well. Part of that is I have a sneaking suspicion the restocks are going to start running out if they haven't already. I don't know. Is anyone still finding SpiderMan Metal blasters in the wild at time of recording on this video? Are you guys still finding them at Barnes & Nobles and Target and Walmart and wherever else you might find them in the retail world? Let me know in the comments down below. I personally haven't seen them, but I honestly have not been hunting that hard for them. If I happen to be in one of those stores, I will glance at the shelf, but I am not going out of my way to stop it and look for them. I got my Target shipment order when those shipped from online was 9 boxes. I opened one and I just stashed the other 8. They're sitting in a tote in my office in the basement to just marinate for a while. So we'll see what those prices do. Just definitely something to keep our eyes on. Marvel Beginnings, we mentioned it earlier. For the longest time, this has been sitting at $239 a box. it recently snuck up to $250 a box now on pre-orders. I still don't think we see this product for a while. We still don't have really a sell sheet for it, to the best of my knowledge. I think we get Fleer Ultra Avengers before this one. I really hope we get Fleer Ultra Avengers this year. That would be really, really nice to have some fun stuff to rip to close out the year. The estimated date is November 30th for Fleer Ultra Avengers, but I do not buy that at all. I would be shocked. I'd actually be very surprised if we even got it this year. I hope that we do, but I'll be surprised if we do. It'll also be curious to watch now that epack is sold out and you know, people start to recoup their funds from that. Do people start throwing more money at Fleer Ultra Avengers pre-orders? Do we see an increase in demand for that product and then spiking the pre-order prices for that? I personally don't think they stay at $400. I wouldn't be surprised if they tick up a little bit from here. I have, once again, full disclosure, I have 12 boxes on pre-order for Fleer Ultra Avengers at, I think my cost average is $335 a box. I have 5 or 6 boxes of Marvel Beginnings pre-ordered at, I want to say like $150 or $160 a box. So we'll see where the prices go from here on each one of those two products. Also from SpiderMan Metal, just an interesting sale. To my knowledge, the first public sale of an AF-15 comic cut. This sold just a couple days ago for, I believe, was it $4,300? Yeah, $4,300. Cool clip. It's of him getting bitten, it looks like, by the spider for the first time. Not in his suit, and I actually think that's what kind of held the price down on this. I made some comments. I thought this would go for a little bit more. I was thinking a little bit over $5K. A lot of people think that's crazy. There's the argument out there about, you know, you could, you know, put that towards an actual full AF-15 in a low grade. And trust me, I get all that. Personally, I too as well would rather own the AF-15. But a lot of Marvel card people, and this is what they've explained to me, and I understand it, do not collect comic books. This, to them, is their grail. And also a lot of people that can probably afford this, good chance they may already own an AF-15. And this is a unique aspect to go along with that. So I get both sides of the argument. The people that say you're crazy to pay, you know, a third of what you could get a whole low grade AF-15 for, or, oh my God, this is the grail card of grail cards. It's a $5,000 to $10,000 card. I understand both sides of the argument. A lot of people don't. I get it. Personally, I would rather have a copy of AF-15, but I don't own AF-15. If I did, maybe I would feel differently about this. But I collect cards and comics. I am not mutually exclusive. Regardless, it's cool to see the first public sale of one of these AF-15 comic cuts. I do believe some have sold privately for higher than this. I think the fact that he is not in his suit and this is just a clip of Peter Parker, even though it's a key moment, did hold this one back a little bit, in my opinion. Let's move over to the comic book world. We had big MCU news this week. We had big news in the MCU space this week with the Deadpool 3 announcement. That wasn't the super surprising thing. The super surprising thing was Hugh Jackman coming back as Wolverine, and that this is going to be, at least it appears to be, a Deadpool / Wolverine movie. The logo is Deadpool's logo with 3 claw slashes through it. So I am assuming that Hugh is going to be a major part of this movie and not just like a random cameo pop-in. Time will tell as we get more information, but we're 2 years away from this. Now, the comic book market has reacted in some shape and forms. New Mutants 98, surprisingly, has not moved that much to very little at all. You can see I have GPA up here. Throughout the month of September, this book was basically going, and New Mutants 98, for those that don't know, this is in a CGC 98, is the first appearance of Deadpool. Basically going between 14 and 1,500, give or take, with a couple sales spiking a little bit higher than that, but generally speaking, around that $1,400 to $1,500 number. Since the trailer announcement, it's gone up a little bit. Actually, GPA must lag behind a couple days. I went and looked at eBay sold listings. It looks like it's creeping a little closer to 1,600 more consistently than the $1,500 number, but it's not like it's immediately going to the moon. Now, I think part of that is everyone knew that this movie was coming. Wolverine, I think, gets the bigger bump from this than Deadpool does, because that's kind of the surprise. Also, this book is considered high census by the comic book world. So it does take a little bit more to move this number, just like a high pop sports card. It's going to take a little bit more traction to move this. I think basically what this announcement ends up doing is gives this book a slight bump to Slash hold it in place. As you can see, it had been trending down since the spring peak in 2021. It had been a straight downward trend, very slow, nowhere close getting back to its pre-boom price of around $900 to $1,000, but slowly trending down. And I do own one of these. I think I paid $1,100 for mine or $1,000 for mine. So slowly trending down. My guess is that this will hold its value in place at least for a while with the hype of the movie building. The one that's really taken off is this one. This is Wolverine 88. It's the first time Deadpool and Wolverine kind of cross paths in story. It's a cool looking cover. This is the one that's really taken off. GPA really hasn't updated yet to reflect this. There's one sale there at $800, but generally speaking, this was about a $300 book. You can see $280, $280, $290. Now those go back all the way to July. One is not sold in a while, and that's because there's only about 172 of these on the CGC census. But when we look at recent sales as current as today at time of recording, this is basically about a $600 book now. $635, $635. There's a $689 crossed out. $600 on auction, $643 on auction. So essentially a $600 book, maybe even a little bit higher. There is some weirdness with this. There's multiple editions, so do your homework. There's a direct edition, a deluxe edition, and a newsstand edition. That being said, I would not be buying this thing right now. The time to spec on this is now past. The spec has cashed in. The spec was buying it at these $200 to $300 prices where it was in the spring. Buying it now is not specking on it. I see a lot of people talk about this in the Facebook groups and stuff like that. Maybe we just have different definitions of spec, but they're talking about like spec is dead or whatever, this, that, and the other thing with MCU stuff. And to me, this proves the point that spec is not dead. If you spec'd on this book prior to the announcement, you're killing it. If you're spec'ing on it now, that's not spec anymore. The spec is cashed. Right now is when you should be selling your spec, not going out and buying more, because this book probably will come down in price. It's not really a significant key issue. Yeah, it's their first meeting, but that's not like crazy value. It is a cool cover. It is a 90s book. There'll probably be a lot more of these that come under the census. When people see what this is selling for, this is probably going to pop up on a bunch of like most graded videos, and a bunch of these are going to get submitted. That'll help pull prices down as well. If you have this, I would probably be moving it. I would not be buying it. This is a classic case of they let you buy them back. It might take it a couple years, but you will probably be able to get back into this book for less than what it's selling for today if you are patient. That's just my 2 cents. The other big one to talk about is Hulk 181. Obviously, first appearance of Wolverine. I do not own Wolverine 88. I do own a Hulk 181 and a CGC 6.5 white pages. I believe I paid like $5,500 for that, and I think that's about what it's sitting at, maybe a little less. Here's a 7.5 that had a recent sale in October at $5,500. You can see going back into September, just under 6K, 6K, 55, 55, 51, 66, 62, 6. So really hasn't done anything to Hulk 181 either. Once again, this is not a rare book. You could find Hulk 181 pretty much anytime you want one. Just a matter of getting it for a price, the grade, the way it presents that you want it to. There's a decent chunk of these in CGC Blue Label. I equivocate this to like an 86 Fleer Jordan, if anyone's watching from the sports card side. It is a key, Jordan, 86 Fleer Jordan is a key rookie card. It's an iconic card. Everybody wants one. There's a lot of them. You can find an 86 Jordan anywhere. You go to the National, there's tons of them. Hulk 181 is the same way. It's one of the most iconic characters in Marvel Comics. It's his first appearance. It's a fantastic cover. There's a lot of them out there. You go to any decent-sized Comic-Con, you'll see them all over the place. You can find them on eBay, IG, whatever, anytime that you want. It's not that rare. So it takes a lot to move the price up. That being said, I think what we talked about with New Mutants 98 kind of applies here. This book had slowly been trending down as well from its spring 2021 highs, slowly pulling back, slowly pulling back. My guess is this movie / return of Hugh Jackman to the MCU as Wolverine, or debuting in the MCU as Wolverine, will probably level this out and maybe give it a slight uptick. This is one of those books that is never going to crash to zero. It would have to be a nuclear winter for this thing to go to zero. It is always going to hold some level of value. If you buy and hold for the long term, I think you will be perfectly fine. But I do think this book kind of levels out in price from here on out. Out of the three we talked about, it's this and New Mutants 98. I would not be putting money towards a Wolverine 88 or any of the other. There's a lot of different cover appearances out there of Wolverine and Deadpool together. A lot of those are spiking as well. I didn't pull all those. I just kind of wanted to touch on the big three today. The last thing we'll close out on is a little bit on the TCG place. And this is a fun one. When this product officially releases, this is all you're going to hear about. I haven't heard a lot about this from the sports card people, but I'm hearing it from the TCG side of things, and that's Lorcana. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. This is the Disney TCG that's going to be coming out sometime late 2023. They had a promo set at D23. Some of the graded ones have hit eBay. You can see these here in PSA 10s. Elsa for $2K. Mickey down here for $1,200. We got some other ones there for $1,500. The raw sets are going for around $4K or more. It was a set of 6. Plus, there was the Mickey Mouse card that you got loose. I don't know the details on how these were acquired, other than they came from D23, and they are selling for astronomical sums of money. The Mickey goes for a couple $100. I believe that is the more common. The sets are a little more rare, going for in this case, almost $5,000 for these. What happens when these things hit the market? Sealed boxes, all that stuff. It's all you're going to be hearing about, I have a feeling, from the TCG space. People are going to go crazy on this thing, most likely. The amount of noise that'll be thrown around about people pumping and dumping this, that, and the other thing, the typical stuff that you kind of see in this space, will be wild. There's really going to be no need to pump this product. It's just going to pump itself. It's Disney. It's a TCG. If they have a first edition release or something like that, it's just got all the ingredients for FOMO to go nuts on this one. It won't even matter how good or bad the game is. Now, will it hold value long term? Who the hell knows? But people will definitely make money on this in some way, shape, or form, how they already are. I don't really know much about it besides the D23 promos that are out there. I'll keep an eye on them and see what they sell for. Probably a ton. But second half of 2023, this stuff will go nuts. I'll be very curious to see what box pre-orders look like for this, what the format is. Do they market it as a first edition? Does it have a limited print run? I don't know. They are kind of cool looking cards if you're into that thing. I'm not like the biggest Disney guy in the world, but the Elsa seems to be the one that everybody wants, at least so far. That's the one of the PSA 10s. As of right now, time of recording, this has the highest price going for it. And these still have 6 days left on them. And this is already at $2K with 25 bids. Yeah, I can see why that is a super popular card. It's Elsa. It's probably got some cool foiling that you can kind of see there in the photo. It's a PSA 10. It's a Disney thing. Bidding history looks relatively legit. You don't see any red flags there on that. Just wanted to take a quick little glance at that. So we'll keep an eye on this. Probably do an update on it next week to see if it should have sold by then. Looks like, yeah, it'll end next Sunday. So we'll be able to talk about this on next week's video. Next week's video might be delayed a day. Again, I just don't know yet. I don't know the travel plans back. We have it kind of open-ended coming back from New York City Comic Con. Might be home Sunday. I might be home Monday. I don't know yet. That could impact the recording schedule. So hopefully I have some good news and stories out of NYCC. I may try to record some footage on the show floor. I don't know yet. That's not typically my thing. But I may bring the camera along just in case something fun pops up. and we'll see kind of what happens from there. But that's all I have for you guys and girls for this week. Like, comment, subscribe. Catch you guys and girls on the next one. Hope to see you in NYCC. Peace.